First things first, let's get
Splendid to
straight
hear.
into it, boys. Winners and losers. We've got some chatting to do about this week. It's a pretty big week in footy. There's probably 3 or 4 teams that essentially got eliminated from the finals race. So it was pretty important. One of the big stories was Richmond going down and stuff like that. But before we get into the specifics, I'll hand it over to you experts. Pilch, who were the biggest winners for you this week, mate?
The biggest winners. 1 second, mate. Need to get the results up. For me, the biggest winner of the week was Brisbane. Obviously, Collingwood weren't expected to beat them, but I think Brizzy are absolutely flying. They've had 2 huge results in a row. And they're flying under the radar as well, which is another good thing for them. I think that's an important factor heading into finals. You don't want too much pressure on you. And if you've got some momentum, then things are looking good. So I say watch out for them.
Yeah, you actually got on that call last week. You basically went 9 from 9 on the predictions, actually. But yeah, you said the Lions were going to have an emphatic victory, which they did. And yeah, maybe looking back, maybe last year, the reason they didn't get up was there was too much pressure having home finals and stuff like that. And this year it's sort of the opposite. They started well and there was a bit of hype there, but after a few tough games, I think the expectations started to fall, and now they look like they're peaking at the right time, as some of the other teams maybe stumble a bit, like the Western Bulldogs. Rowie, who are your other big winners, mate?
Big obvious one was on Friday night, the Giants. Obviously, really helped their finals chase. A lot of people probably got them in their top 8s now. I myself do, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, like you said, just finding some form at the right time. I think we all know they've got enough talent to probably be there in September, but it's good to see that it's all working for them because you can't really hate the Giants unless you have this big thing about all the talent they've got, which is fair enough. But it's good to see them all in full flight when they're fit, which is rarely. Essendon as well, I think a few people saw, including us, sort of saw maybe an upset's coming. This would be very Essendon to lose to the Suns, but obviously got the job done and emphatically, by 10 plus goals, so that was good. But also Freo yesterday in the derby, breaking an 11 or something game drought, and to do it right when they need to keep their finals hopes alive, and really, and almost, it's perfectly scripted. It's just about kicked out West Coast unless they can beat the Lions this week. So yeah, it was a great weekend of footy, and it was awesome to see all of the teams we hate all lose except for the Cats. So it was a great weekend of footy with some great winners.
Yeah, definitely huge for Freo. I think no matter how much they've progressed over the last 2 years, I think till they got that victory over the big brother in West Coast, I don't think they would truly believe in themselves, or we could believe in them. But I reckon going in, even if they don't make it this year, which they still can, but going into next year, I think that's going to be a big confidence booster for them, and will definitely help them psychologically going forward, I reckon. Another team worth a shout out, surprised you didn't get around them, Filch, but Port. I know Carlton were absolutely decimated by injuries, missing 4 of their top 5 players, but still had to get the job done. A little bit scary early on, but the wheels got turning and ended up winning pretty comfortably. But yeah, I agree with all the winners you boys have mentioned. Now the losers, there's some big ones actually this week. I'll just just after mentioning Port, I think David Teague's probably the biggest loser for me. I think he was already under a lot of pressure, and then a massive loss like that, and one of the all-time worst second halves. Definitely it hasn't helped his cause, and yeah, it sounds like it might be a matter of time. I don't know if it's fair or not. I'll get your boys' thoughts on that, but I think he's definitely one of the biggest losers, probably a bigger loser than the Carlton club itself, because I think he's going to be the head that will roll as opposed to players or presidents or whatever. But Rowie, what do you think of David Teague's position? Do you think he's stuffed?
Unfortunately, probably, but I don't think it's the thing is I saw this sort of stat the other day, and I think in the last sort of last sort of period of time or whatever, he's been the second most successful coach for Carlton. So it was almost set up to fail, which is a thing that a lot of people are saying. He sort of came in at the wrong time. he came in. It was really bad list management strategies. Signing Brackets McGovern for $800K and getting Williams and Sutton, all these guys for so much money. The list wasn't really designed to succeed in his hands. And with Paddy Cripps basically falling over every week, like it's tough for him to sort of find success with the list he's got. But like at the same time, like I know I feel bad for him because like it's hard because obviously not a lot was ever going to go his way in terms of like the list and all that and where the club was at. So as much as I think he still needs a little bit of a chance, I think it might be time for him. I would like to see them keep him on, but I think it's just a matter of time now, especially after the weekend. I know it was almost their reserves team that they were playing with, but I think it was still a statement enough as it was.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually would like to see him stay as well. I think he seems like a good bloke, but it's always hard to pinpoint like this on one person. But I think a good judge of a good coach is like what they like player progression, and I don't think there's been much player progression in his time at Carlton. Like think of the likes of Setterfield, Petrevsky, Seaton, all those guys. They've sort of been tipped to go on to bigger and better things. And I know he's only been there for like 2.5 years or whatever it is, but under his tenure, they haven't seemed to really have improved that much. And they've had so much like top end talent in the draft. You would think they would want a coach who sort of specializes in that area. Pilch, do you reckon he should stay or not?
I agree with everything Rowie said, but I think he's probably cooked. I can't really see them not sacking him. Grim day for all Carlton supporters out there, but I'm not going to pile on the pain. I want to give a shout out to West Coast in the losers section. Shocking performance from the boys in the derby. Finals on the line, and good to see them missing finals for once.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Luke Shuey.
I didn't watch it, but loved watching that result come through. We did predict it. Quick shout out to Liam Stocker as well. Felt bad. It was just an absolute capitulation, and the poor boys sort of got under his skin a bit there. So shout outs to Stock. But Rowie, any other losers you want to mention?
I guess Richmond. Hallelujah, they're just about gone. I think they basically are, unless they can sort of come about and get a 180-point win and have all the favourites lose. But good on them. I think the ride's just about done. So hallelujah for us all. The Dogs are a big loser to the Hawks. They're starting to lose a bit of form right at the wrong time. I don't know if that's because Bruce is out, got a couple of injuries, or they're just not that good. But obviously they're an absolute powerhouse. But they're obviously just losing a bit of form, but if they can regain it in a couple of weeks, then obviously it doesn't matter. And obviously the Eagles, another team we all love to hate. So if the Lions can do us all a favour and beat them this week, we won't be seeing them in September, which will be awesome, especially if Freo get up and they can make finals. Because imagine being in WA and having the Dockers sort of Bradbury it past West Coast and make finals. That'd be awesome to see. But great to see the Eagles losing and probably shooting their finals chances in the foot because, I hate them with a passion.
Good to see we're all on the same page. I reckon most people who live outside of Perth are on the same page with us. I reckon we've covered most of the losers there. The Suns, disgraceful loss. We thought Essendon were going to win, but just getting pumped by that much. I didn't get the Suns. It always looks like they've turned a corner, and then they just do something shit house, which makes you think otherwise. Yeah, what were you going to say, Pilch?
No, I said Crom, but that's very stiff.
Oh, yeah.
That's very stiff.
They came back well, actually, in the middle of that game. There was like one point where they came back from like 30
I thought the D's were about to get crommed in that little period there.
Nearly did in that third quarter, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually good. I swear every time I watch Darcy Fogarty, he's an absolute weapon. Like I watched about 20 minutes and he was just plucking them and he was just like kicking set shots from the pocket and stuff. I was like, fair play, but
he's a great kick.
Good. Yeah, very good set shot. We talked about this before.
Shocking footy brain though.
Pilch goes
rough.
bang.
Yeah, that's actually rough. Yeah, shout out to McAvoy, who we discovered earlier, talking off air, that he is the second most accurate goal kicker with at least 100 goals. So shout out to Tory Dixon and shout out to Ben McAvoy, killing it for the ruckman out there, right? So
it's a miracle! Oh yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.